Here, I'm Wendy with usbornhappy.com. Why am I Usborn Happy? I'm surrounded by Usborn books, and I get to help other schools, families, and organizations be happy that way too. So the first thing I wanted to talk about today, actually the only thing I want to talk about today, is something that has really blessed my heart as a parent and actually now as a business owner as well. And that has been reading aloud with my kids. And I truly believe this is one of the single most easiest yet overlooked ways that we can connect with our kids. And I'm going to literally borrow some pages from a book that I read I think 11 years ago when I was first married, and my husband and I did a study on the 5 love languages, how to express heartfelt commitment to your mate. And it was pretty funny for us. I mean, it's eye-opening if you're just married or about to get married, or even if you've been married for a while. It's really eye-opening. And the premise behind this lovely book by Moody Publishing, and the author is Chapman, is that people they experience love in, you can probably categorize it in 5 different ways. And the 5 different ways that they have tuned into are through words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. Now, I do have a free download for you, so you just hang on to the end of the video. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I wanted to kind of go over how reading aloud, when you read aloud with your child child actually feels loved. So you are helping them with, whatever love language they have, and technically you can't even test that until they're like teenagers. So in order to not have that guesswork, just hit them all 5 at once. That's my theory. And I realized that when I read aloud with my child, all 5 love languages were being filled. So he talks about a love tank and how you should keep it full. And isn't that true for our kids, right? I mean, and some people express that love in different ways, but let's go over how reading aloud can actually hit those love languages all at once. So the first way, these words of affirmation. I mean, when you say to your child, go pick out a book so that we can read it, that child is hearing that you want that time with them. Obviously, you're going to be reading a lot of words with them as well. And I mean, if they happen to read one, when they're later, not 2-year-old, maybe 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, be like, wow, good job. They have more of an opportunity to hear that word of affirmation from you when you are reading right next to them. Quality time. So reading aloud does not have to be a 2-hour gig, all right? It does not have to be a 2-hour gig. It can be, just 15 minutes. And actually 15 minutes a day really adds up. There's all kinds of graphs about that. And it doesn't have to be at night when you're super tired and all you want to do is get that kid into bed. It can be, over dinner. It can be just before dinner. It can be just after dinner. It can be just when they walk through the door. If you're homeschooling, it can be any part of the day. It can be just before they go off to school. You can spend some time reading aloud with your kids. Receiving gifts. So I don't know about you, but when I receive a new book, it is there's some fire going on in my head. I am so excited. Wow, a new book. And so it communicates something to the child when you say, this is a book that's for you, because they know you're going to be reading it aloud with them. Then acts of service. So you have a lot of things to do probably. I mean, if you're a parent, if you're not a parent, if you're taking care of children in any sort of way, you have a lot of acts of service that you do just because you have to, pretty much to survive. But it is an act of service that they are seeing. Wow, my mom did this for me, or my teacher did this, or once in a while they'll be like, wow, the house is clean, So they know that you are doing things for them, and that is some kids actually experience and feel love when you do that. So isn't that great? So when you are actually putting aside the other normal acts of service to sit down with them and read aloud, that in turn is like a double act of service. They know how important it is for you to make dinner, to to clean up stuff, whatever. And then the fact that you are sitting down with them, that's like a huge signal to them. They matter. The 5th love language is physical touch. And for a child, if you're sitting next to them or they're sitting on your lap while you're reading aloud with them, if they feel that love through physical touch the best way, guess what? You've hit that love language without even, trying. You're there. You're right next to them, or they're sitting on your lap. That kid's love tank is filled. And so how great is that, that reading aloud is all 5 things. Now, the free download I'm talking about, it's on my website, usbornehappy.com, USBORNE happy.com. You can go to my website and get a free download of a bookmark that I developed that kind of reminds you of how important reading aloud is through these love languages. Your child will experience confidence, and your love for them. They will feel closeness. They will feel loved by reading aloud because of these love languages. Yes, the bookmark is approved by Moody Publishing. I did get that. I'm just such a fan. If you are interested in this book, of course it's available everywhere. I recommend a brick and mortar bookstore, but hey, that's just because that's who I am. But there's other great books that he's adapted for this topic. Let's see. Here you go. Nope, other side. So teenagers, adult child, children, and he's even got one for coworkers too. It's true. It's true. You can actually speak love into your coworker's life. So go forth, love people well, and I hope you have a lovely day.